topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talkboard TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, DFW. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. About 3 years ago, you asked us to add a show on personal injury law. And though there are a lot of personal injury attorneys in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's only a couple really fine firms. And we were able to get one of those firms, the Mark Underwood firm. He is a personal injury attorney. He has been with us for the last 3 years. Today, he's not with us today, but hey, we got great stand-ins. We've got Natalie Hall and Jessica Boyd. Good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
We can. Hey, how are you doing?
We're doing great. You know what? I guess we're so lucky we have two really well-educated women who are with the Mark Underwood firm. I'm so glad we have both of you. Tell us about Mark Underwood's firm and what you do.
Well, we handle a lot of personal injury claims. We handle a lot of class actions, Social Security, disability, a little bit of criminal law, a little bit of family law. We're kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to that, but we do what we do it well. Jessica Boyd and I are paralegals from Mark Underwood, and we're really excited to be here today. We're actually the fun ones, so we're kind of cool. And we're here to answer all of your questions regarding personal injury. So, Steve-O, keep in mind, we're paralegals, not licensed attorneys. We're not going to give any legal advice, but we're pretty knowledgeable, so let's see what you got.
Okay, you set the rules. You got it. We
got you.
We're very glad to have both of you. And listen, I can't ask you a difficult question because even after 3 years of Mark, he answers everything so well. I just got to put a word out there and he goes with it. So we got letters from listeners and viewers. And
okay.
I'm going to we'll start off with Greg in Plano. He wants to know, once a lawsuit is filed, is there any chance the case might still be settled before it's filed or once it's filed?
Oh, absolutely. Most personal injury cases will likely settle out of court. Mediation is a great way to settle cases out of court. Mediation is when a neutral party called a mediator attempts to negotiate a settlement for both parties.
We often send things called demand letters, which also kind of lead towards reaching a settlement prior to trial.
Right. I hope that answers Greg's question.
I'm sorry, before I go any further, a lot of people don't know that you work on a contingency basis.
Yes.
Which means when they come in to sign with you, they don't have to write you a check. You actually work on performance.
Right. We don't get paid unless we recover money for them. And we pay costs up front most of the time. And so no, they don't have to come in and have to worry about paying attorney's fees and things like that up front. We do it on a contingent fee basis.
So a person who's in an auto accident, there's no excuse for not hiring an attorney.
No, there's no excuse for not hiring us as their attorney. None whatsoever.
You snuck that one, but it's true though. You know,
Absolutely.
that's
Don't
one
do
of
it
the
on your own.
purposes.
Don't do it on your own. It's not worth it. Let us take care of it. It's a
This
big headache. We've been doing this. It's what we do. It's what we do well.
I've discussed this with Mark on several occasions. My son, who lives in Dallas, was in an automobile accident, and he thinks he's the greatest salesperson on earth. So he wasn't going to hire an attorney when he could negotiate it in his mind himself. And I got to tell you, he will tell you today that that was the dumbest thing he ever did, that he knows there was so much money left on the table that here he was trying to save money and it ended up costing him.
Yeah, I don't think that's uncommon, unfortunately.
Well, let that be a lesson.
No.
If you're listening, call us now.
Well, you know what, the purpose of this is we want it to be a level playing field, because when you're in an accident, the insurance companies want to pay you the least amount possible.
That's very true. And when you're in an accident, things happen very quickly and things can get very confusing very quickly. And insurance companies, they want to swoop in very quickly, have you sign something and be done. And you think they're helping you and they're not.
Yeah. And for anyone who's not been involved in the legal process before, it can just seem very overwhelming and scary very quickly, no matter how confident they are going in. So it's always helpful to have people who have the experience needed to handle the insurance companies on your behalf.
Well, you know, if you're in an accident, and for those who've never been in an accident, who have no knowledge, and it happens when we least expect it, what is the first thing to do? Hire the attorney? Or if you're injured, go to a doctor?
Well, that's a great question. And I think one of your callers sent in a letter regarding that question. So we can answer that now, or we can address it when we get to that question. It's up to you. But if you're injured, please go to a hospital and get treatment, and then give us a call. If you just have property damage, you want to deal with make sure your insurance company is aware, and then their insurance company. And then if you have trouble getting any type of insurance to pay, you can give us a call. But absolutely, if you've been injured, give us a call. Absolutely, if you've been injured, give us a call.
You know, I know the laws are different here in Florida than they are in Texas. My friend was hit from behind. I don't know if this is the same thing in Texas, but if you're hit from behind, the person who hits you, it's automatically their fault. And they did exchange driver's licenses, but he left. So by the time the police got there, there was no one there to give a ticket to. Do they mail a ticket if you're in the wrong?
I don't know the answer to that question, but they can trace the police. If you have a copy of their driver's license and their driver's license information, and you give it to the police can track them down and make them liable for that accident. So I can only assume that they would be cited for that.
Yeah.
Yes. Kathy in Dallas wants to know, what happens if a jury does not award the full amount of the medical bills? Who pays those bills?
Whoa, this is a loaded question, which we get a lot. Okay, so let's start with the first part. So if a jury doesn't award the full amount of medical bills, there are several factors that can play into how the remaining bills can be paid. So there's really not a specific response to this question, but the bottom line is you can't make a defendant, that's the party responsible for the accident, pay more than what a jury orders them to pay. However, if there's like an underinsurance policy that the plaintiff might have available, the remaining medical bills could be paid with those funds. Again, each case could be a little bit different. So kind of depending on the case on how those can get paid.
Is there an insurance policy, auto insurance policy, that covers you in Texas for the uninsured motorist?
There is. Most people, now, if you're at fault, it's not that person's uninsurance that would cover. It would be your uninsurance. So if somebody hits you and it's not your fault and they don't have enough insurance to cover it, and you have underinsurance on your policy, it would be your underinsurance that would kick in to pay the remainder should you need it.
It's really a good idea to get that type coverage, isn't it?
Well, you know, I have really upped my insurance policy since working for an attorney.
I actually just added it to mine. I had not had it prior, and if one thing has been proven to me through working in this industry, it is make sure you are covered.
It's really, really important because most people, when they get insurance, they want the cheapest monthly benefit because insurance is very expensive. So they get, you know, they barely get policy limits that, you know, 20, 25,000 policy limits. Well, if you've got $100,000 in medical bills, it's just not going to cut it.
No.
So, you know, I always recommend if you know, make sure you're covered in case somebody else isn't. So best advice you can give somebody is take a look at your own insurance policy and see what else you can do for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I bet you a lot of people don't know their entire policy until it's too late.
They don't. And it's always a good idea to do as much as you possibly can. I know it can get very expensive very quickly, but if you can save money somewhere else and put a little more towards your monthly insurance, I highly recommend you do that because when you need it, you'll thank yourself later. And you may never, I hope you never need it, to be honest with you. But when you do, I hope you have it. So you'll thank yourself
really.
when you need it. Absolutely. I've seen it so many times. Even with people I know, relatives, they're like, oh my gosh, if it hadn't been for my underinsurance, I'd have nothing right now. They're right. They would have absolutely nothing if they hadn't taken care of themselves. So it's a good idea to take a look at your insurance policies for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of people, you hear the word personal injury, but they don't know all that entails. For example, wrongful death is an area of personal injury. What are some of the areas of personal injury besides auto accidents and wrongful death?
Sure. You have slip and fall. So if you fall down, for example, if you're shopping somewhere and you fall down, if you are injured by a product, if you are injured on somebody else's premises, if you have, again, wrongful death, accidental dismemberment. There's lots of different types of personal injury that we handle.
Dog bites,
chemical exposure.
Yeah.
There's lots. Radiation exposure. We have quite the variety right now. So yes, wrongful death is personal injury. Car accident seems to be like probably the main one that we have. Slip and falls, probably coming maybe second. Dog bites, like Jessica said, dog bites.
Boating accidents, truck accidents,
Absolutely.
motorcycle accidents.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of different areas. And, you know, you said dog bites. A lot of people don't even realize that that's considered personal injury.
Right.
Yeah. Some people can find themselves in some really unfortunate situations and they don't really know that they can get help in those cases, you know.
Right.
Dog bites are definitely an area that we've seen a lot of clients come to us.
Boating accidents, ATV accidents. I mean, the list can go on and on. Yeah. And some of them are just freak accidents. You wouldn't think, oh, I can't get compensation for this, and you can. So.
And, you know, I think also if there's a break-in, property damage.
Yes, that as well.
So tell me, and I want you to be totally open. Why should I hire your firm?
You should hire our firm because we have experience and we're very good at what we do. And we're very compassionate. We understand what you're going through. We've done every type of personal injury, Social Security, disability, you name it, we've done it. So that kind of gives us the advantage to help you in the best way we can possibly help you. And that's what you want on your sign. You want experience. You want someone that understands what you're going through and knows what your outcome could be. And you definitely want a firm that's going to be able to get you the best possible outcome, in my opinion.
Better myself.
That's what I want.
It's so important who you hire. I'm going to go back many years ago when I did live in Dallas and we had the Ask the Expert show. We found, this is in the Yellow Page days. Well, what is Yellow Pages? No one even knows what those are anymore. But in the Yellow Page days, people would hire an attorney whoever had the biggest ad in the Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
And that was not a good way to hire an attorney. Now it's a lot of people hire an attorney, whoever has the nicest website. And again, it should not be that way. And that's why we bring you a show like this. You know, God forbid you're in an automobile accident or a slip and fall. You don't have to worry about going to find who has the nicest website ad. What we do with this show is we're bringing you the top attorney in personal injury and someone who's going to give you the service, because there is so much service involved in your business.
That's us. You just described us in a nutshell, Steve-O. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Well,
we love
it
That's
is
why we're here.
important. There's a lot of law firms, big law firms. You see these ads on TV, and again, that's not the way to hire a law firm. With your firm, they actually work with attorney Mark Underwood, correct?
They do. And another thing that Jessica and I wanted to do this today instead of reschedule is because you get us too. You work with Jessica, you work with me. Now you can put a face with a name. Because you're going to work with us, you're going to work with Mark, and now you know, like, this is, you know who the paralegals are, you know who the attorney is, and it's familiar. We're family, and we're going to be the ones that you're going to talk to from start to finish. And I think that's something that's more comforting to people than being transferred to 16 different people who have to say, well, wait a minute, I don't know anything about your case. Let me transfer you to so-and-so. Well, wait a minute, I don't know who. Let me transfer you again. Hold on. Let me take your name and number, because I don't know who you are, and I don't know what's going on. That is so frustrating. I do, when I get a voicemail, when I get transferred, even in, checking my bank balance or something, man, I get mad. I'm like, gosh, really? So it's comforting to know that the person that you're talking to is the person that can help you. So
I think because we get a lot of feedback around the country, and people who have hired an attorney had a bad experience. They would never get back with him. And,
Right.
I'm not saying they have to get back with you, that day. It could be the next day. But I know
Right.
with your firm, you do get back with everybody. And that's really important when it comes to customer service.
it is. And even if you call and you want to speak with Mark, if he's unavailable, Jessica, I'll call you back. I will call you back. And if you're still to the point where you say, look, thanks for calling me back, but I really want to talk to Mark, we'll get Mark,
Yeah.
And we know sometimes it's just one of those comfort things where you just want to hear it from your attorney. Okay, that's okay. But, we're not going to leave you on somebody's voicemail. We're going to make sure that someone speaks to you and make sure that you know what's going on. And another great thing about our firm is we have an online client portal. So you get to see everything we can see, anything that goes out, anything that comes in. So you know what's going on with your case. So it's not going to be 3 months, 4 months go by and you're like, what is going on? I haven't heard anything. I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen anything. You're going to get notified that something's been put in the portal, something's gone out from the portal. And that is such a convenience. Our clients love that. They love that they can just get a notification on a text or by email, and they can say, oh, this came in. Oh, this went out. and they can put a little note in there saying, hey, thanks for sharing this. Hey, thanks for letting me know this went out. And that keeps them in the know, and they love that. They love that. So it's a huge relief to a lot of people. So,
well, not only touched on it, but we keep in touch with our clients through so many different formats, like not only from calling them over the phone and having them call us, we do Zoom meetings with them when we need to do updates, email, text message, client portal messages. Like we are pretty much always in contact. So I know
Well,
for me,
we have to mention somebody else because I work with her directly. Is we got to give Cynthia credit too.
Oh, we love Cynthia.
Oh,
Cynthia's the
love
best.
Cynthia. She's our favorite human ever.
She's the sweetest
No,
human
she's
ever.
been my contact for years, and she's wonderful. I mean, she's
Yes.
always on the ball. Listen to me sucking up now.
No, it's not. You couldn't be more right.
She fills so many roles in this office, and she is incredibly helpful. Like she is the one who is going to keep you on track and remember things that like
keeps us running like a well-oiled machine. We don't know what we would do without her. So yeah.
Okay, we just got our first text. They want to know. They want to know. I'm in Arlington. Do you have Zoom if I hire you?
Absolutely.
Yep. We have clients that are in, Houston area, San Antonio, El Paso, all over the state of Texas. So we use a lot of different options to keep in touch with our clients who are even,
And like I said, I'm in our West Virginia office. So we have clients in West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, all over the state of Texas. I mean, we have technology that can connect all of our firms. So
what did we ever do without Zoom?
I know.
Well, I guess you've noticed this has gone by very fast. Let's give everybody your phone number for both offices as well as your website.
Yeah.
Well, our website is www.underwoodlawoffice.com, and our McKinney, Texas office number is 972-535-6377. And if you want to call our West Virginia office, it's 304-522-0508. And I'll give you a little hint. You can call either number and it all comes to the same person, like us. So we've kind of combined our phone lines. So you're going to get us no matter which number you call. But we'd love to hear from you. So any questions you want to throw at us, just call us up. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys got.
You both did wonderful.
Yay.
I hope you'll come back on again.
Anytime.
Thank you so much. We love your firm.
Great. Thank you,
Thank
Steve.
you, ladies.
It was so nice to meet you.
You did great. And we're going to be right back. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about weight loss. We'll be right back.
And we are back with the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV with your hosts, Steve-O, Sophia, and their expert guests.
And we are back. Our next show, they've been with us a couple of years now. And I got to tell you, it is so nice doing this show. This is our weight loss show, and we're here with Dr. Gamboa. Here she is. Hi, Dr. Gamboa.
Good. How are you?
We're doing wonderful. We got so many questions since we last saw you from people who watched the show, and I don't even have to share them with you. You just do it right off the top of your head. Your clinic, Elite, and I got to tell you, it is the perfect name for your clinic, Elite, because it is. How have you been?
Good. How about yourself?
Been busy, very busy, and Dr. Gamboa, I got to tell you, everybody wants to know about the injection. Everybody.
Of course.
Do you find that in your practice?
Oh yes, yes, yes. Like, and they come here. I mean, it's a wonderful tool that we have in our toolbox to help people because for the longest we didn't really have a lot of very successful treatments for obesity. Obviously, like there's no magic pill, no magic injection. I already
Yeah.
mentioned that many times because even if I give you the best injection in the world, the best medication, if you don't change your habits, if you don't help me out with a little bit of exercise and eating healthier, then there's nothing is going to happen, and you're just going to be as frustrated as you started and with less money because you're going to spend money if your insurance doesn't cover them. So it's always better to like try to eat healthier, and I cannot expect, or I'm not asking the patients to change everything overnight because this is a habit thing. It's been doing this for years. So we have to little by little like meet where the patient is at. Like let's say like they are night shifters, or you're being used to drinking your Coke like every single day and this becoming a habit. So little by little we have to change and break those habits. And the good thing about these injections, like the newest one on the block, if I may say the brand name, is Zepbound. And this one is a combination of two peptides. And why is it more effective than the other one that was only a single peptide? Because this one works not only at the level of the hormones of the hunger, but also at the level of the satiety, but also helps you with your insulin resistance, which the previous ones didn't do much about it. So now this is a game changer for everyone, and they see the results. And also it's been showing that it's helping at the level of the brain, and that's why like I've been reading some articles that they're trying to see if these injections will help people with addictions and see if it will help them, because again it works at that level. And I don't know if you heard something about food noise, and that's something that I've been seeing and hearing from my patients in social media, that these medications decrease that food noise that they have in their brains. They're no longer thinking, oh, what's gonna my next meal going to be, or what I just finished eating breakfast. I'm gonna think about having what I'm gonna have for dinner. So, and it decreases their food noise, and it helps with that. So there's a lot of hope, and again, it's wonderful tools that we have now to help people with obesity.
You know, first of all, tell people about Elite Care Clinic.
Sure, like Elite Care Clinic is a clinic that not only is going to take care of all your needs, like we do like primary care, and we also do wellness. And that's how I like to approach the patient about everything. It's not only one thing, like we have to take care of everything. And we do family medicine. Mostly I'm trained in family medicine. I also do a lot of wellness and hormones. And also like I'm starting to do some like cosmetic procedures along with that, because everything goes together. If you're feeling good, then you want to look good.
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Gamboa, I'm going to say this, and I really mean it from the heart. It's good to have a doctor that is very knowledgeable, but when it comes to you, what I've noticed about you, you really care about your patients. And that is not always that way with all doctors. I'm going to tell you that. But it's just
And
so obvious that you really care about your patients.
that's, like what I try to do, especially nowadays in this medicine world, or medical world, if you want to call it that. Everything is becoming a corporation, unfortunately, and you become a number, and that's the sad part, because medicine
Yes.
is not like a drive-through that you're just going to go like spend 15 minutes with the doctor, out you are in the door, and then here's your medication, if it's having from a vending machine. I mean, that's not how it is. Like everything nowadays is transactional, and I hate that. Like it has to be more personalized, and that's why I also chose the name personalized care, because we're losing that. That's very from the old school part, because again, everything now it's more corporation transactional type, and it has to change, because we're not a number, we are a person, we're someone that has the disease. We don't only treat the disease, but we try the person that has the disease, so that's what we try to do as much as possible.
Well, that's why I love your practice. I want to get back to the injections. So I, which I've shared with you before, first of all,
Mhm.
since our show is in Florida, Dr. Gamboa is in Irving, Texas. Um, I take the injection and I have to go through my nephrologist because I get a really special price through my insurance because I have kidney problems.
Mhm.
And I've been taking it now for a month. I've had no side effects, Dr. Gamboa, none. And it actually works. I want
Yes.
people to
So
know
probably
that it really,
yes, probably you notice like that your appetite is going to be less. You're going to get fuller faster. So always I tell the patients to please listen to your body signals. Whenever you're full, stay away from the plate because if you eat just a tiny bit more, it's like, oh, this is like a delicious burger, or that's going to happen. That's going to cause problems for you. You're going to feel sick to your stomach. You're going to feel that your food is on your like really like you're feeling full, and sometimes you may throw up. And that's why we don't
yeah,
want this to cause to the patients.
I got to tell you, I look at food totally different now.
Yeah,
There's times that it's like, oh, food, but I know I have to eat something though.
yeah,
But it really, I mean, you know what, Dr. Yimbo, there's all these pills they talk about out there, and I think I tried almost all of them. None of them work as well as this injection. I mean, I'm on a different one, and I think this is it called Zepbound that you like?
yeah. So that's the one that it's basically like Zepbound is tirzepatide, and that's the generic for also Monjaro. Monjaro is the FDA approved version of tirzepatide for diabetics. The Zepbound is the tirzepatide version of the approved for the weight loss only. I mean, they couldn't call the same medication for two different um, applications or
Yes.
indications. So that's why they had to change the name. But it's the same molecule, it's the same thing. And that's the one I was telling you that is a little bit more effective than the previous one because there are two peptides involved. And one of the peptides work a little bit more towards the insulin resistance. So that's why they are being very effective and they work. So that's why this is a game changer for obesity treatment.
Where do you suggest people take the injection, their abdomen or leg?
Well, I have like, I think most of my patients, like they like to do it in their abdomen. They say that
Okay.
they don't feel it there. Some of my patients, they have tried in the arm. They have pain in the arm a little bit more. And also because they have to be only with one hand versus holding with the other hand and helping you with the other. The leg, I patients they can still do it. Some of the patients like it there. Some of the patients have a little bit more sensitivity, and they prefer not to do it. So it varies.
Well, I don't want you to laugh, Dr. Zimbo, but I hate needles. Hate them. I mean, I'm the biggest baby only when it comes to needles. And I got to tell you, I don't feel a thing. When I
Yes,
give the injection in my stomach, I don't feel anything. I have to look down to make sure it's actually in.
is that there? Yes, and that's what happens. Like they made a really good design, the companies, because you don't see the needle, and that's also a safety feature. So you don't see it. It's an auto injector, and then you go ahead and you just wait for the click, and then wait a couple of seconds, and then the second click, and you're done. So that's also helped for patients. No offense, Steve, but most of the guys hate needles. Uh, and they are little babies. I mean, I'm no offense to anyone listening. I'm so sorry, but that's the little truth. But this helps them because they don't see the actual needle, and it's really very helpful. And the other thing that I want
Yeah.
to mention, whenever you said you don't feel much, so also like sometimes patients may need a higher dose to feel more effects. So don't be discouraged if you are in the lowest dose, that's 2.5, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, I didn't feel anything. This is like putting water. don't feel discouraged. Don't feel like, oh no, this is not working for me. No, like it's going to work. So some patients are going to be more sensitive to the doses than others, like with anything in this world. Like some patients are going to need 2 pills of Benadryl to have the same effect versus one. And some people with half of the Benadryl is going to be sleeping. So the same exact thing. So if you need some patients, I had the experience that some patients were doing perfect with 2.5 or 5. They were like, oh my gosh, I barely can eat, like what you were telling me. But are patients that they are in the 7.5 or 10, and they're starting to feel the the symptoms and the effects of the medication. So please don't be discouraged. Like this will work, and just like continue doing what you're doing. Retrain your brain to eat whenever you're feeling hungry. Even though this medication blunts your hunger hormone, try to make an effort to put an alarm or like to eat a little bit like a very good snack like protein, because if you don't eat for long periods of time, you're going to feel sick to your stomach as well. You're going to have dizziness, you're going to feel
Yes.
nauseated, you're going to have headaches. So you definitely have to eat smaller portions, make adjustments, because if you eat very greasy food or the ones that you used to eat, oh my gosh, you're going to pay for it the next day. Or if you eat a lot of spicy food, so you have to be tweaking depending on how you do, because people that love spicy food is going to have heartburn. Remember, these medications are going to make your food stay longer in your stomach. It's going to take double the time for your stomach to empty its contents. So you have to be conscious about that, and that's why you have to like decrease the spice, decrease the foods that they make too much bloating or fermentation or gas, because you're not going to be comfortable. And I don't want you to say, oh my gosh, this is making me sick, I'm going to stop doing it.
Right.
No, like just adjust your habits, and you're going to do really good.
Something else I think people need to realize, you've got to be patient, because this isn't like overnight you're going to lose 40 pounds. It just doesn't work that
Exactly.
way.
And
And
also
it
you
would
have to,
probably be sick. But I'm losing about 2 pounds a week,
yeah,
and I'm pretty happy with that.
that's about right. I tell my patients, mostly females, we are like, we suck at weight loss, and then probably everyone will agree with me, because we have all the hormones and everything in between. But at least like 5 pounds a month, like that's usually what I see with my female patients. But if they are, let's say, like the husband is like doing the weight loss, they hate the husband because the husband lost twice as much as they did, doing the same thing and doing the exactly the same. So that's the thing. So females, like give or take 5 pounds, but sometimes they can do 8 pounds. So remember, as Steve said, like this is not going to happen overnight. You also need to think about, you have years of accumulating this weight. I mean, you cannot
Yes.
expect to just in a year just shed all the pounds. And also you have to remember this. You have to give time for your body to get adjusted to the new weight. So you're always going to have a plateau. You're always going to have that area that it's your body sensing what is new to it. Because remember what I mentioned, like in my very first episodes, how your body gets adjusted is the metabolic adaptation. So anytime your body is going to feel that it's losing fat, weight, then it's going to do everything in its power to bring it back. So you have to give your body some time to get adjusted to the new weight.
Well, one, two, three. We have four texts that all basically say, they're different people, but they all basically say the same thing. Great show. We love your show. I
Thank
want to
you.
know, I do not have any health issues, but I do need to lose weight. Is it safe to take the injections if you don't have any previous health issues?
If you are in the category of like overweight, so like your BMI is 27, and you said that you're completely no like problems, so it will be hard for the insurance to cover this medication if it's covered because you don't have a chronic condition if your body mass index is less than 30. If your body mass index is more than 30, it doesn't matter. You don't need to have a chronic condition. That's what we're trying to prevent, right? So like if you have a BMI of 30 or more, you can get it covered. And you don't need a chronic condition. But if your BMI is less than 30 and it's 27 or more, but you have to have a chronic condition in order for the insurance to cover these medications.
But
But
is it safe, Dr. Gimbo?
Yes, it's safe to use in patients that they don't have diabetes. In fact, that's why the Zepbound was only studied in patients that did not have any diabetes, did not have any chronic conditions. It's only for the purpose of weight loss. So and nowadays, I don't know if you heard, but the injections are safe enough and also give you the benefits. Not this new one, because this one is an ongoing research that is testing to see if it's going to give us some cardiovascular benefit or decrease our risk for cardiovascular events, meaning heart attacks or strokes. So the previous one, Wegovy, already came out that they have like a cardiovascular benefit, meaning that they're going to help decrease the risk for cardiovascular events, and that's why it's getting more popular now, because like I read some article that if they have this, then Medicare probably will cover it because it's giving that benefit of the decrease on cardiovascular risk. So that's great, because like that's great news. At least we are going in the right direction. Medicare will start covering this to decrease your risk for more problems, which makes sense. So that's where we are right now.
I got to tell you that I do have Medicare, and I cannot believe the difference in Medicare not covering it and Medicare covering it. I was shocked. There's a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
What about, how long do you have to be on the injection?
This is a very good question, because what happens is, like, just remember that obesity is a chronic disease and we have to treat it as such. So by chronic, I mean that it's not overnight that you gain the weight. And also, like, so that means that you're not going to be on these medications only for a month or two, like just to lose what you wanted and then you're going to stop it. No, this is a process. This is a lifelong commitment that you have to do, because this is for the rest of your life, for your health. So you have to see this. Obviously, I don't like to tell my patients, oh, you're going to be on this for life, because that's not the point. The point is that you also have to help. So we have to be this long term, because we have to let your body adjust itself, and hopefully we may have the body reset the metabolic set point. So at some point your body is not going to fight you back to get that that's in theory, like that weight back. But you have to think that this has to be a long-term relationship. It's not only for a little bit. This has to be also, like, you have to do it under a medical supervision, because then once you get to your healthy weight, then you have to talk to your doctor and come up with a plan to maintain your weight. Then you have to maintain your weight for like a period of time, let's say a year, and then little by little taper down your medications. But once you hit that healthy weight, that you're good with that, and maintain it for some time. And so that's why it's so important, the increasing protein in your diet, and also resistant exercises. Resistance is going to help you form muscle mass, maintain your weight, and that's going to help you in the long run.
I had a caller who saw our promotion for this show tell me that Oprah Winfrey is no longer a spokesperson for Weight Watchers, and that she is on the injection.
Yeah, so that was a big thing.
She does a lot of research.
Yeah, so this was a big thing that, like, Oprah for the longest was on the Weight Watchers advisory and all that, But now then she realized, and I think that in the long run, it's going to be a marriage between the injections and Weight Watchers, or any other like weight loss, because again, this is a lifelong thing. So we have to also develop plans to maintain the weight. remember, it's not only losing it, but then after losing it, we have to maintain it. So then I think there's going to be, again, a marriage between the injections and Weight Watchers, or Weight Watchers have to do like a different thing, because they have to be able to help the people maintain their weight with their points and everything. So because the patients have to maintain a certain level of calories and everything. But I think at some point there's going to be like a merge with this too, because they need each other, So that's how it's going to be, I think.
My final question, again, this is from another person who loves your show, wants to know, they live in Mesquite, Texas, and your office is far for them. Do you have telemedicine?
We do have telemedicine, and always what I like, I know it's far, but maybe if you can commit to come maybe once every 3 months or so, like to check you in person, like your blood pressure and everything, and also I like to do the scan that I have that checks for the muscle mass, like the fatty tissue, calculates your body the basal metabolic rate. So the rest we can do it telehealth. So that's how I usually have the patients if they live far. So we at least once every 3 or every 6 months in person, and the rest we can do telehealth, monitoring everything, how it's going, and then that's another option that we can do.
Well, Dr. Gamboa, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you giving up part of your busy day to come on and answer these questions. You are the best. Just give everybody your phone number and your website.
Of course. Thank you, Steve, for always having me. The website is elitecare-clinic.com, and then the phone number is 469-947-6020.
Dr. Gamboa, Elite Care Clinic. She'll be back again with us next month. And thank Harold for us too.
Thank you. You guys too. And keep it up. I'm gonna keep up tracking your progress, Steve.
I will do that. Thanks, Dr. Gamboa.
Bye. Take care. Thank you.
That's Dr. Gamboa of the Elite Care Clinic in Irving. I know a lot of people are interested in these injections. I got to tell you, this is not an ad for the injections, but I'm on them, and they're working. And Dr. Gamboa, this is one of her specialties. So give her a call at 469-947-6020. That's it for us today. We'll be back with you again next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.